The India of the 1970s was an India where all our basic freedoms were curtailed through a process of declaring a political emergency. My first work outside India was in Kenya during President Moi's time. It's the first time that I saw people look over their shoulder before they speak. Open society means something very real to me. It means being able to live freely, breathe freely, speak your mind, things which we take for granted in so many parts of the world. There is a clear pattern in how authoritarian governments come into being and how they stay in power as well. They scapegoat some communities like religious minorities, refugees, LGBT populations. They attack women and women's rights, and particularly sexual reproductive rights. They use elections to establish legitimacy. As soon as they get power, they tend to erode the independence of institutions. They take over mainstream media. We need free institutions, media, judiciary, getting to parliament which is functioning. You need all of the elements of a democracy. Equally, you need an economy that's delivering. You can't have a democracy if people are not able to see any of the economic benefits reaching them. Democracy, open society, and human rights all go together, and together they form the concept of justice and fairness. My role is to give some shape to open society's work at the global level. The work of the regions and the global and in open society are deeply intertwined. If you take something like the climate challenge, we have to deal with it at the very local level where poor people are being negatively affected, but we have to influence the policies on climate change at the COP or the UNFCCC. The good thing about the way open society approaches the democracy question is that it is a holistic view. Yes, we do grants, which is a kind of traditional mechanism, which is very, very important, but we can blend it with other instruments that we have. So impact investment is a very powerful tool, and there are many, many areas where litigation is the answer to solve the problem. It's also supporting youth movements, and youth work has been a very central part of what we've done over the years. And I think there can be so many examples from different parts of the world. So the women's movement, for example, Open Society has supported women's struggles in Africa, in Latin America, country after country. What we find is that the leadership for the fight for true democracy comes from the most marginalized groups. It's very powerful that they are leading the fight in many, many parts of the world. The authoritarians today are not really following any kind of rules, right? And so one of the big ways in which they succeed is by creating fear. But I think Open Society has never hesitated in saying that we will fight these kind of anti-democratic forces.